Should you join the International Legion for the defense of Ukraine? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. Of course, you're a grown-ass adult. You make your own decisions. I just want to give you all the information that I have, some of the nitty-gritty parts of my experience in Ukraine, the good things, the not so good things, and let you make an educated decision. I wish before I went there was somebody who made a video about their experience and all of the not so amazing aspects, so I had a better idea of what I was walking into. Let's get into it. Off the jump, I want to say this. There is a very good probability if you go volunteer fight in Ukraine against the Russians that you will not come home to your family. I know that's super morbid and depressing and pessimistic, but it is the fact, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention that right off the jump. I do not want to portray this as some tactical airsoft Call of Duty match bullshit. If you're just coming out of high school or something, you want to serve a bigger purpose, try to make a difference, go to your local recruiters, talk to those guys, join the US military. Also, do not use Ukraine as an escape. If you are unhappy with your life wherever you are, and you think if you go there, it'll solve all your problems, you are incorrect. I'll tell you that now. As well as anybody who has dealt with substance abuse issues, has an addictive personality, all of those things, alcohol, drugs, tobacco, all of that is readily available in a war-torn country and on the front line. Ukraine is not your rehab. Don't use it as one. It will make things worse for you. Lastly, if the only reason that you're considering joining the International Legion is to hurt or possibly kill people, do not go to Ukraine. Do not join the Legion. You'll be doing yourself a disservice because you probably need to seek some actual professional help. Also, you'd be doing anybody in your unit a disservice. And having that mentality will get yourself killed or other people you're serving with killed. I mention all these things because they're things that I saw while I was over there. I saw Joe Blow, random Call of Duty fan, 100 pounds overweight, show up thinking that this was going to be the most amazing experience. He didn't last more than a week. I saw that happen to multiple people. I saw people show up who did not have their addictions in check, and they quickly started showing up to the barracks drunk, on drugs, and they're kicked out of the Legion. I also ran into a couple people who only joined because they wanted to kill, and that was quickly snuffed out. Word got out, it got up the chain of command, they were kicked out of the Legion as well. So save yourself some money. Don't spend money on a plane ticket and bus ride, train ride into Ukraine if you don't have any of that stuff squared away, because it will bite you in the ass when you get there. Okay, now that we got all that out of the way, let's talk about the requirements that are needed to even apply to join the International Legion. Okay, these are the requirements from the actual International Legion for the Defense of Ukraine website, which I'll also link below in the description. Candidate requirements, 18 to 60 years of age. Pretty simple. No criminal record. Pretty self-explanatory. If you want to fight with a bunch of murderers and rapists, go join the Russian side. No chronic diseases. Physical fitness, which we will cover a little bit more in this video, and ability to legally enter Ukraine, basically meaning make sure you can get a passport. Once you've joined, finished training, and deployed to the front line, they'll issue you a military passport, which effectively makes you a Ukrainian citizen, as long as you're in the armed forces at least. Now let's finish this off. Military or relevant experience is an advantage. Military experience is not required, but would increase the chances of being accepted. Other relevant experiences might include law enforcement, paramilitary organizations, firefighting, etc. Those of you who are new to the channel and don't know about me, I was a firefighter and an EMT for a couple of years. This is how I got in. And the last optional requirement is combat experience is an advantage. Combat experience is not required, but would increase the chances of being accepted. Combat experience might include paramilitary, militia, etc. It's also important to note that the International Legion is a combat element. You will not find yourself a cushy desk job here. Let's read this. What is the International Legion? The International Legion consists of infantry and special task battalions. Formed by presidential decree right after the outbreak of full-scale Russian invasion, the Legion has taken part in the majority of the crucial campaigns and battles of the war. Legionnaire teams are also embedded in some of the most prominent brigades of the armed forces of Ukraine. Side note, but relevant to this topic, I noticed when some of us Legionnaires would join up with a Ukrainian unit, like an infantry brigade or a mechanized brigade, the Ukrainian soldiers looked at us like we were superheroes. Something about having a group of Americans and European soldiers fighting alongside them made the Ukrainian soldiers extremely happy and grateful. I've also put the 4 steps to apply on the screen here. I don't want this to feel like a recruitment video, and in all sincerity, I hope that you do not join, because I'd prefer for you to stay safe at home. But there's some people out there that feel the calling and feel the need to go. So this is for you. As I mentioned before, I wish before I went, there was a video like this for me to watch so I knew what the hell I was doing. I went to Ukraine with a bag of clothes and a bag of medical supplies. My entire plan was to get there and join some military hospitals and see if I could use my EMT skills to help some people out. I spent a week and a half in Ukraine knocking on doors of hospitals and military bases asking where I can be helpful. Eventually I arrived in Kyiv where I went to the US Embassy. This is where I met Special Agent John and I asked him what I should do. He told me to get the fuck out of Ukraine. And I actually almost did until I ran into a group of Ukrainian soldiers who referred me to the International Legion. Here I applied to be accepted and an interview. At the time they were not accepting anybody with no military experience, but the fact that I had some medical background, they allowed me to go. Barely. I joined at the beginning of 2023. So the application process and joining process was not as simple as it is now. I mentioned earlier on in the video that I'd revisit the physical fitness portion of the requirements. The training is not extremely difficult, but if you're out of shape like I was, it can be. So I made a list of physical fitness requirements that I wished I had before I went there. It's a real basic list, but even just having these things down before I got to Ukraine would have been extremely helpful. Push-ups 30, sit-ups 50, jumping jacks 100, 2-mile ruck with at least 30 kilo, and be able to sprint for 30 seconds. To me, these are necessities. Being in good shape when you arrive on the front line and when you get into combat can be the difference between survival and death. Make sure your stamina and endurance are at peak performance and you'll be okay. Go on jogs, go on long walks, hikes, rucks, swimming, all of that will help increase these. I'm gonna leave it at that for this video, you guys. I hope this was informative. I hope this helps at least one people. If it did, I did my job. Do me a favor, like and subscribe and turn on notifications. And also comment down below if you plan on going or if you're thinking about it. I want to know. That's it. Love you guys. Stay safe.